Greetings, viewers! If you're one who keeps abreast of worldwide economic events, you might have heard recent murmurings concerning the US currency. Numerous specialists are asserting that the US dollar is currently experiencing its worst period, and this could have significant repercussions for the global economy. It is a subject that's gaining attention globally, and for valid reasons. The US dollar has traditionally been regarded as one of the most stable and potent currencies across the globe. As the world's reserve currency, numerous countries and enterprises worldwide have utilized it for trade and investments. However, due to current events such as the ongoing pandemic and the Federal Reserve's efforts to back the economy, the dollar's value has been waning. Consequently, many people are concerned. The intention of this video is to provide a thorough analysis of the situation surrounding the dollar and the reasons why it's causing apprehension among economists and investors. Our exploration will cover the present condition of the US currency, the effects of a feeble exchange rate, the consequences on international trade, possible solutions, and the implications for us as consumers and investors. Get ready for an engaging and enlightening expedition through the realm of global finance. Let's get started. The current state of the US dollar. The US dollar is the most widely used currency in the world and is a standard currency for global transactions. However, in recent months, the value of the dollar has been weakening against other major currencies such as the euro and the yen. One of the main reasons for the decline of the dollar's value is the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. The pandemic has had a significant impact on the US economy, causing a sharp decline in economic activity and employment. In response, the Federal Reserve has taken measures to support the economy, such as cutting interest rates to near zero and printing money to provide stimulus. While these measures have provided some support to the economy, they've also led to a weaker dollar. Printing more money without an increase in economic output leads to inflation, which erodes the value of the dollar. Additionally, the low interest rates make holding dollars less attractive to investors, who can also contribute to the dollar's decline. Another factor contributing to the weakening of the dollar is the US trade deficit. The US imports more goods than it exports, which means that the demand for foreign currencies, such as the euro and the yen, is higher than the demand for dollars. This puts downward pressure on the value of the dollar. The decline of the dollar's value is a significant concern for the US economy and for investors around the world. A weaker dollar can lead to higher inflation, which can negatively impact consumers by making everyday items more expensive. It can also make it more difficult for the US to borrow money from other countries, as investors may be less willing to lend money to a country whose currency is losing value. Overall, there are numerous elements at play in the complex issue of the US dollar's current situation. Although the Federal Reserve and other policymakers have taken steps to address the decline, it is still unknown how successful these actions will be over the long term. The implications of a weak dollar. A weak US dollar can have far-reaching implications for both the US economy and the global economy. Here are some of the most significant implications. Inflation. One of the most significant implications of a weaker dollar is inflation. When the value of the dollar declines, the prices of goods and services increase. This happens because it takes more dollars to buy the same amount of goods and services, and this can lead to higher prices for consumers. This can be particularly problematic for people with fixed incomes, as their purchasing power declines when prices go up. Foreign investment. A weak dollar can make it more difficult for the US to attract foreign investment. This is because investors may be less willing to invest in a country whose currency is losing value. This can be a problem for the US as it relies on foreign investment to finance its budget deficit. Trade deficit. A weak dollar can also worsen the US trade deficit. When the value of the dollar declines, foreign goods become more expensive for US consumers, which can lead to a decrease in imports. However, it can also lead to a retaliation from other countries, which may impose tariffs on US goods in response. This can make it harder for US businesses to sell their goods and services abroad. International influence. The US dollar has been a symbol of American power and influence for a long time on the world stage. A weaker dollar can lead to a decline in this influence, as it can be seen as a sign of a weaker economy. Investment opportunities. A weak dollar can also present investment opportunities. When the value of the dollar declines, other currencies, such as the euro, may become more attractive for investors. This can lead to increased investment in countries that use those currencies, which can help to boost their economies. As a whole, depending on the situation, a weak dollar can have both positive and negative effects. It can worsen the trade deficit and make it harder for the US to draw in foreign investment, but it can also present investment opportunities and support other economies. The long-term effects effects of the US dollar's current situation on the world economy are yet uncertain. The impact on global trade. The US dollar is the world's most widely used currency and is the standard currency for global transactions. A weak US dollar can have a significant impact on global trade as it affects the value of goods and services exchanged between countries. Here are some of the ways in which a weak US dollar can impact global trade. Number 1. Export competitiveness. A weak US dollar can make US exports more competitive in the global market. This is because a weaker currency means that US goods and services are cheaper for foreign buyers. This can help increase demand for US exports and improve the trade balance. For example, if a US company sells goods to a foreign buyer in euros, a weak dollar means that the company will receive more dollars for each euro, making their product cheaper for the buyer. Number 2. Import prices. A weak US dollar can also make imports more expensive for US consumers. This is because a weak dollar means that it takes more dollars to buy the same amount of foreign currency, which leads to higher prices for imported goods. This can lead to inflation and reduce the purchasing power of consumers. Number 3. Currency fluctuations. A weak US dollar can also lead to fluctuations in other currencies. This is because the US dollar is the standard currency for global transactions, so changes in its value can have a ripple effect on other currencies. For example, if the value of the US dollar declines, the value of the euro may increase in response as investors look for alternative currencies to invest in. Number 4. Trade imbalances. A weak US dollar can worsen trade imbalances between countries. This is because a weak dollar can lead to higher demand for US exports while reducing demand for imports. This can make it harder for other countries to sell their goods and services to the US, which can lead to trade imbalances and tensions between countries. Number 5. Investment opportunities. A weak US dollar can also present investment opportunities for foreign investors. This is because a weak dollar can make it cheaper to invest in US assets such as stocks, bonds, and real estate. This can help attract foreign investment to the US and boost the economy. Overall, a weak US dollar can have a significant impact on the global trade. While it can make the US exports more competitive and attract foreign investment, it can also lead to higher import prices, trade imbalances, and currency fluctuations. As the US dollar continues to weaken, it remains to be seen how it will impact the global trade in the long run. Potential solutions. While a weak US dollar can have far-reaching implications for both the US economy and the global economy, there are potential solutions that can be implemented to address this issue. Here are some potential solutions. Number 1. Monetary policy. The US Federal Reserve can use monetary policy tools to address a weaker dollar. This can involve adjusting interest rates, implementing quantitative easing, or altering the money supply. These tools can help stabilize the value of the dollar and mitigate the negative effects of a weak currency. Number 2. Fiscal policy. The US government can also use fiscal policy to address a weak dollar. This can involve increasing government spending or implementing tax cuts, which can help stimulate the economy and increase demand for US goods and services. This can help to boost the value of the dollar and improve the trade balance. Number 3. Trade policy. The US government can implement trade policies to address trade imbalances caused by a weaker dollar. This can involve negotiating trade agreements with other countries, imposing tariffs on imports, or providing incentives for US companies to export their goods and services. These policies can help to reduce the trade deficit and boost demand for US exports. Number 4. International cooperation. Addressing a weak US dollar may require international cooperation. This can involve working with other countries to stabilize currency exchange rates or negotiating global trade agreements. By working together, countries can help to reduce the negative effects of a weak dollar on the global economy. Number 5. Diversification. Investors can diversify their portfolios to reduce their exposure to a weak US dollar. This can involve investing in alternative currencies such as the euro or the Japanese yen, or investing in assets that are not denominated in dollars such as gold or real estate. Overall, addressing a weak US dollar requires a multifaceted approach that involves both monetary and fiscal policy, as well as trade policy and international cooperation. By implementing these solutions, the negative effects of a weak dollar can be mitigated and the US economy can be strengthened. In conclusion, the state of the US dollar is undoubtedly a cause for concern. However, it's important to remember that the US economy is incredibly resilient and has weathered many storms in the past. While there may be no immediate fix for a weak dollar, we can take comfort in the fact that potential solutions do exist and that policymakers and investors are actively seeking ways to address this issue. As individuals, we can play a role in staying informed and making smart investment decisions by diversifying our portfolios and keeping a watchful eye on the global economic landscape. We can position ourselves to weather any potential storm that may come our way. So let's continue to monitor the state of the US dollar and stay informed about potential solutions and their potential impact. By doing so, we can make informed decisions and work towards a more stable and prosperous global economy. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.